Good afternoon, Grenada. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Grenada Matters, the show where we generally talk about things to do with the injustice with people on the island of Grenada. Today we're going with a different tone. We're going to talk to somebody who's on the island of Grenada doing some great work. And without further ado, we're going to be handing over to Miss Herica Willis. Miss Herica, are you there? Miss Willis, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, good afternoon, good evening, Ingram. Nice to be here.
It's great. Welcome to Grenada Matters, or should I say, in this case, Grenadians Matter. Usually on this show, we are pretty hard-faced and we're either moaning, complaining, or upset with things happening on the island. Today, we're taking a different tone. We want to get to know more about yourself, because obviously you are a professional on the island of Grenada, and we want to know about you, what you do, what you're about, and just kind of in a more relaxed atmosphere, so the people on the island and around the world can get to know who you are. So we'll start with your name.
Well, of course, my name is pronounced Herica, but I'm from the Caribbean, specifically Jamaica, and it's spelt HERRICIA, but it's pronounced Herica.
Thank you. I got my correction early on before the show started, and I'm getting it again, which is cool. Okay. A little bit of pepper sauce there. Good job. I was saying Trinidad. So yes. So Herica, you have been on the show before. You're no stranger to the show, and we know you as an attorney on the channel because of the various things you've spoken about. Now, we're not going to talk about that so much today, but break it down for me, because I'm still confused as to what a solicitor is, a barrister is, an attorney is. What is the difference between these things, first and foremost?
Right. Well, I was raised in the UK just like yourself. In the UK, you have solicitors and barristers. The profession is split. You have solicitors who deal mainly with the clients. Barristers are there to argue the law. They spend most of the time at the court. They very rarely spend a lot of time with the client. Some barristers never meet the solicitor's clients, or they probably just meet them 6 weeks or even 3 months before trial. But as I was saying, a solicitor, well, a client would come first to the solicitor. The solicitor would take on the matter, do most of the investigative work, put the case together, and if the matter goes to court and there needs to be arguments on the law. So a barrister is basically an advocate of the court. They're there before the judge, takes instructions from the solicitor on behalf of the client. So there's a separation there between the lawyers, because a barrister and a solicitor are both lawyers, but they deal with clients at different stages.
Okay.
Some jurisdictions, especially the Caribbean and the US, you have attorneys at law.
Aha.
Attorneys, they deal with a client as well from start, then they also advocate for the client before the court.
So it's a combined role, attorney, as opposed to a solicitor and a barrister.
That is correct.
So you do double. So in theory, you would do double the workload.
Yes, but some attorneys in the Caribbean, they act like solicitors and deal with the clients, and they appoint another attorney, advocate, to argue the case before the judge. Okay. They do that quite often. But a lot of attorneys, they start matters, and they finish it in the courts.
Okay, so that's good information. I didn't even know that, but now I know. So let's talk about yourself, because you are considered in Grenada an attorney at law.
Yes. Well, I'll start from the beginning. I started life off as a legal executive. A legal executive, they're regulated by their own association, which is the Institute of Legal Executive. But the Law Society is the umbrella for the Institute of Legal Executives. Okay? Legal executives, they specialize in subjects. So as a legal executive, which I was, as I started off, a lawyer, and as a legal executive, I am qualified to specialize in 10 different areas of law. But in the UK, a legal executive manages or manages the solicitor's office, or is an associate to the solicitor, and works along. But in the UK, again, legal executive can act on their own, but they can only do certain areas. In fact, I'm just trying to think of the hierarchy of courts. In the UK, legal executive can go as far as the county court. They cannot appear in court before the judge in a high court matter.
The high court's serious business, I understand.
That is correct. But I started life as a lawyer, as a legal executive way back in 1994. I qualified as a member of the Institute of Legal Exec. And 2 years after that, I became a fellow. So in fact, I'm a fellow of the Institute of Legal Executives.
So I'm gonna, the obvious question I'm gonna ask you, what's a fellow?
Well, a member is like a trainee.
Okay.
You train under a solicitor or a fellow for 2 years.
Right.
And then as a fellow, you can work on your own. You're qualified. You get a practicing certificate.
Okay.
Just like an attorney at law and a solicitor.
Okay.
Right. So I became a solicitor in 2000. Went to law school. At that time, it was Guildhall University in London. I think this now changes name to the Metropolitan University.
Yeah, I believe it has.
Well, I went to law school there and qualified as a solicitor, done my legal practice course. Right, and as a solicitor, of course, I can appear in the High Court. But as a solicitor, when you appear before the court in the UK, you're an advocate solicitor. Right? Nowadays, it's not just barristers can appear before the court. In 2013, I qualified as an attorney at law in Jamaica. I attended the Norman Manley Law School. In 2014, I became an attorney at law in Grenada.
What does that mean? So wait. So from Jamaica from Jamaica to Grenada. Now you were in London first, then you went to Jamaica, and then to Grenada. In terms of the qualification, does it still stand the same way? Is it still respected because it's from London then to Jamaica, or is it the same rules all round universally?
Well, it's different rules altogether.
Right.
At one time, you could be working as a solicitor or a barrister in the UK, and you return back to your country or any country in CARICOM in the Caribbean,
Mm-hmm.
at one time you worked with a government for say 2 years and then you automatically become an attorney. That does not work anymore. Each
Why?
jurisdiction is independent. Well, it's different rules. When I moved, I went to Jamaica in 2005. Although I still employed and could work as a solicitor in the UK, by returning to Jamaica, they never recognized the legal executive qualifications, because in the Caribbean, all your majority of your education is law. You do A-level laws, then you do a degree in law, LLM, masters, so forth. In the UK, you can have different qualifications before you go on to be a solicitor or barrister. So when I returned to Jamaica, although I worked in different areas, like for example, I worked for the Jamaican government as an investigator, but I needed the legal degree. So even though I qualified as a solicitor and working as a solicitor in the UK, in the Caribbean, they wanted a law degree.
Wow.
So hence after all that qualifications, 10 areas of law, it's just thematic, just procedurally, I obtained LLB law degree in 2009.
Well, so but I know there's a big thing within the Caribbean, or before it used to be a thing that you came to England, you got a degree, it meant something big. You studied somewhere big and you meant something big, and it was well respected. It seems to me now that that's not the case, or that may not seem the case.
I think it has something to do with the University of the West Indies.
Okay.
That was once a London Polytechnic.
Okay.
And I believe early 60s, maybe 50s, I cannot recall the exact time, they went to university status. And a lot of qualifications in the Caribbean vis-a-vis Europe, America, that changed a lot of things. Because a lot of qualifications in the Caribbean is not recognized in the US, in Canada, or in the UK. So if a attorney goes to the UK, they'd have to do a load of exams, the same vis-a-vis like I have done in the Caribbean.
Okay.
So it works both ways.
Okay, I get it now. So okay, sorry for interrupting. Keep continuing.
No. It's you have questions just like others.
Right.
I've been a lawyer since 1994, but I've got a law degree in 2009. You have to think, hold on, what's happening? But it's jurisdictional.
Right. So you study, you go to Jamaica, you come to Grenada, you get your degree. That's what they want. Then what happens?
In what sense?
Well, then you start to practice. You automatically can start practicing.
Yes, practicing in Jamaica,
Yeah.
and then I decided to move to Grenada.
Right.
And called to the bar in Grenada in 2014, and I opened my practice. I must say, I assisted an attorney in Anguilla. So I was called to the bar in Anguilla, but I've only worked on one case there. But just most of my legal background is in the UK, Jamaica, and Grenada.
So what does it mean being called to the bar?
Called to the bar, you must be called to the bar to actually practice in that country. That's what it's just a terminology.
I'm a layman, so calling to the bar means what? For drinks? Are you there? Are you gone? Are you still with us?
Yes, I'm still with you. Are you here? Yes, you're back now.
Right, so go ahead, say a call to the bar, you said. So a call to the bar, does that mean a call for drinks?
No, what it is, when you're called to the bar, say for example, I'm called to the bar in Grenada.
Right.
So I obtain legal standing, there's no problems with my qualifications and so forth. The same thing from the UK.
You're freezing up, Herica. So we'll just wait for you to come back.
There seems to be some problem. Yeah, seems to be some problem with the internet. Right, so when I was called to the bar, as I was saying, in Grenada, the courts in Grenada received a certificate from the bar in Jamaica to say I've got good standing. The same was obtained from the UK because my full title is Solicitor of the Supreme Court of England and Wales. So of course, a letter would have been obtained from the Solicitors Regulatory Authority to say that I'm a solicitor of good standing. Right up until 2014 to 16, I think, I was still practicing law in the UK.
Right.
But then I decided to settle. It's strenuous running from country to country. So I do most of my work in or from Grenada now.
Okay. So your practice, what's the name of your practice or your organization your legal organization?
Is H.L. Willis and Associates. So it's really my name.
Okay, and where would that? Sorry.
My associates would be when and if I have other lawyers working in the case, because sometimes lawyers work together.
Okay, and where are you located in Grenada?
H.A. Blair Street. Okay. That's in St. George's.
It's in St. George's, right. So how long now since you've been qualified or verified to work in Grenada? How long have you been applying your trade?
6 years now, from 2014.
And how have you found it just generally, how have you found it? Because obviously this is something you've had a passion to do for years. You've put your blood, sweat and tears into it. So
it's hard going. In a smaller island where I'm considered a foreigner, I am. It's been hard going to build a reputation.
Right. And so how does it compare between, I know it's hard to compare between England and Grenada, but how does it compare in terms of how the Caribbean operates to how the UK operates in terms of law and those dynamics?
Completely different.
Okay.
In the UK, most lawyers specialized in particular subjects. Like, for instance, in the UK, I worked for the British government off and on for over 20 years. So I specialized in financial services law. I was a prosecutor on some cases, in others, I was an investigator. Quite a lot of high-profile cases. Right, in Jamaica and in Grenada, you're an all-rounder. You're expected to know several areas of the law. And as I've said, I have specialized in 10 specific areas of law outside of Grenada.
So in Grenada, if somebody comes to you, what are your areas of expertise that people would generally come to you about?
Well, it's mainly property law, probate, property law that includes conveyance. In the Caribbean, there's always issues relating to land. That's one of the biggest issues, not just in Grenada, in all of the Caribbean. I think basically it's the process of family land, what we have generational, which has now in the 20th and 21st century is causing a lot of problems, and of course because of migration. So that's a lot. Probate as well. There's still this issue, but it's changing a lot. People still don't recognize or realize the significance of preparing themselves or their family for when they die and to make wills. That's still a big issue in most of the Caribbean islands. And of course, something that is really not particular to Grenada, but is very significant, is debt. A lot of people are in debt. So that's a lot of my cases.
So those, go ahead, sorry to interrupt you.
Family law as well. As I said, Caribbean, you don't just stick to one area. You do many different ones, and those are mine generally. I do immigration, which I've done outside of Grenada, and I'm a human rights advocate from my days in the UK, where although I worked for the government, I've always worked for the legal aid centres as well.
Explain legal aid to people over in the Caribbean as opposed to because they might understand what legal aid is. I know what it means, but if you could explain that, would be great.
Well, Jamaica has. There's a lot of the countries have.
Okay.
Legal aid. Grenada does not. That is where individuals cannot afford legal fees, and the government set up an legal aid, usually, and more specifically, that's usually in crime, because all constitutions, you're innocent until proven guilty. So this is where the concept of legal aid comes in, to assist individuals who are innocent to prove their guilt and that they have not got the financial means to do so. As I said, unfortunately, Grenada, they do not have legal aid, that substance.
Is there a reason behind that, or that's just the way it is?
I have not looked into it, so I can't really comment on that.
Okay.
But I do know they do have something called legal brief, where the case is such serious, the government will appoint a lawyer, but that is in the criminal arena.
What would you say that you enjoy the most out of all the stuff, all the areas of law that you can practice and people will call upon you to your services? What would you say is the thing that most either attracts you or most you enjoy?
Well, I enjoy the law, applying the law, assisting individuals. That is why I'm a lawyer. Mm-hmm. I cannot really say I have a particular area. I know the areas I don't like.
Well, we're going to go into that in a moment. So
yeah. I enjoy probate because I like to look into the past, especially our history. And again, property in the Caribbean is quite interesting as well because of the people's concept of family property, which does not always fall within the law. When I say that, I have clients whose property is still registered in their great grandmother's name. So that means 4 generations. That means they must have obtained their property when that relative, that ancestor came out of slavery. And it's amazing to look at the papers and the way it's written. So I'm a history buff. So that's very, very interesting.
Wow.
And of course, again, I do like human rights, but human rights it's very, very difficult to apply in the Caribbean.
Why do you love human rights? What is it about human rights that gets you interested?
It's assisting what I would say the underdog, the person who cannot assist themselves. It's you have certain individuals who cannot see or cannot stand by and see injustice, and that is my makeup. I cannot turn a blind eye. Even if the case warrants it, I do something called pro bono. That means I do not charge. I assist that individual.
Wow, wow, wow. What is it that makes you make that decision? Say, you know what, this is pro bono. What is it?
What makes me do it?
Yeah. What is the decision that makes you think, you know what, this is pro bono? Apart from the fact they can't afford it, or it's
it's not that they can't afford it. It's their situation is such they need assistance to get their voice heard, and I assist that individual to have their voice, to be able to speak for them.
Okay. So I know you talked about the fact that you've worked in London, or you've worked in the UK, you've worked in Jamaica, you've worked in Grenada. I mean, you talked about Anguilla as well, did you not? Or
I've worked over as well by working for, as I say, I worked for the British government off and on since I started my working life in the 80s.
So in theory, you could still work on cases around the world if you wanted to?
Because of my qualifications, yes.
So in all, for the whole experience you've had from start to where you are now, how many years have you been involved in law?
Since 1985.
I'm not a mathematician, I'm sorry. not my area of strength. English, yes. Maths, don't go there.
Over 30 years.
Okay.
I qualified as a lawyer in 1994.
Yeah.
I qualified as a solicitor in 2000.
Okay. Okay.
That when I say solicitors, again, solicitor of the Supreme Court of England and Wales.
Okay.
So working for
the Supreme Court. What's the difference between the High Court and the Supreme Court? Now you got me really gone there.
The Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. At one time, it used to be
the High Court.
No. You used to have the House of Lords, did you not?
Yes.
But now it's taken over by the Supreme Court.
So the Supreme Court,
they 2005, they split it because the House of Lords was political, wasn't it?
Okay. So the Supreme Court, what sort of cases are dealt with in the Supreme Court? What are you looking at there, for example?
Appeal cases. Where you're appealing, no matter where it's, well, now that the UK is not a part of Europe, so to speak.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court in England is the highest court in the land. It used to be the European Court. Okay? But now, in fact, one time it used to be the House of Lords. I say from 2005 there was an act that created the Supreme Court of England and Wales.
Okay.
So cases don't go to the House of Lords anymore. It goes to the Supreme Court. That's another full area of explanation to explain to you. and to the public.
Wow. I mean, so
That's constitutional law. I'd have to explain a lot.
So to be at that level, to work in the highest court of the land in the UK, that means you have to have a certain amount of clout about you, or anybody can do it, or what? What's the situation with that?
No, you have to qualify as a solicitor. Barristers, they're different. They go to inns of court. They've got different inns, temples. Again, you need a barrister to explain their method of how things work, which is completely different from a solicitor. A solicitor can be sued. In a lot of cases, a barrister cannot.
Can you say? But can you say yourself? You know what? They're going to sue you as a solicitor. No, well, you know what? I'm a barrister now. Wait, I'm a barrister. You can't sue me now. Can you run behind?
In the UK, you're either a solicitor or a barrister.
If you're an all-rounder, how does that work then? Can you not say, well, loophole?
Well, a solicitor, as I said to you, most of the law is argued in the court by a barrister. Right. Or now, you have a solicitor advocate. A solicitor can now, but you have to have more training.
Okay.
To do that, okay? Because usually a solicitor would appoint, because that's all a barrister does, argue law before the court.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I said before you initially, a legal executive, a fellow of the institute, well, they've changed it to chartered now, they can open an office with a solicitor. A barrister cannot. Because in the UK, there's a separation of the profession.
So wait, so you're saying a barrister is almost immune to being sued, but a solicitor can't open up an office. A solicitor who is not immune to being sued can open an office.
Hold on. What I said, a barrister and a solicitor cannot go into business together. They cannot open an office together.
Aha. Gotcha.
A solicitor and a legal executive can.
Right, gotcha. I understand. I hear you now. I get you. Right. So one of the things, obviously, you provide a lot of services as a attorney at law. One of the things I wanted to ask you is whether you'd be willing to come on the show on a regular basis, maybe on a weekly basis, to provide information and stuff about law for fellow people on the island of Grenada, across the Caribbean.
Yes, I would love to. As well as being a lawyer, I'm a lecturer. I lecture the law. And there's a lot of areas of the law within Grenada and the wider community that individuals don't understand and would like it broken down.
Okay.
I'm quite happy to do that, and I'll be glad and honored to do a show for you.
Thank you very much. And if we called it Herica's Corner, what do you think?
That sounds fantastic, because it's my corner to explain things to the general public, especially individuals like me who have returned to the Caribbean.
Wow.
And they've come back and they assume the law is the same as in their country, Canada, America, UK. It is not.
Okay, so we've got Judge Judy. Now we're going to have Attorney at Law, Miss Willis. How does that sound? Herica's Corner.
I'm still a solicitor, but at the moment, a non-practicing one. I've not renewed my certificate because I'm not working in the UK in a professional legal manner. Other ways I am. But I'm happy to explain Grenadian law and in relation to the individual's country as well.
So you would happy to talk about, so the laws that you talk about could cover the whole of the Caribbean?
Well, let's start off with Grenada, please.
Okay. Okay, so just so we'll stick with Grenada. So because we have people coming from different parts of the Caribbean and say, "Yo, I got a problem."
Right. Saying that, I had one individual call me from Jamaica.
There you go.
I saw him, wow, 7 years ago, and he still wants me to assist him. Wow. And I'm doing that.
Okay. All right. Okay.
But so let's start off with Grenada. You would like me to come on Grenada Matters.
Of course. So we're going to deal with Grenada.
I have a lot of clients from the US, the UK, and Canada who would be grateful for this.
Fantastic. So we'll do that. What day or what time would suit you best, Miss Willis?
Wow. What day do you think? I'm busy all the time, but
we have Grenada Matters 6 till 7. You know that? That's the slot we normally have for Grenada Matters on a Monday. So I don't know. It'd be nice to have a day where either we have it on the same day as Grenada Matters or we have it on a different day. What do you think?
Let's have it on a different day. How about Wednesday in the middle of the week?
Wednesday? Maybe.
Is that possible for you?
Wednesday? What about Sunday?
Well, what time?
I don't know. I'm asking you. You're the boss. Well, it'll be after 4 o'clock UK time.
4 o'clock UK time.
4 o'clock UK time on a Sunday, or
4 o'clock UK time is 11 o'clock.
Wednesday's good. Wednesday's good. Wednesday's still good.
Okay.
Wednesday. But got to remember, we've got to find the schedules for Grenada, because obviously Grenada's got their TV shows on certain nights and certain things are going on. So we've got to find the night that people can tune into you and be able to see you and not be punished for it.
Okay, as you've just asked me, let's discuss it off camera, and then you could tell people at least a week beforehand, a couple of days.
Okay, that sounds good.
That sounds good?
Sounds good. Sounds good. So, people, Herica's Corner coming very soon.
Thank you very much.
Herica, Miss Willis, thank you so much for being on Grenada Matters. And Grenadians, start to get those questions in. We're going to be having attorney at law, Miss Herica Willis, on Grenada Matters. This channel, this station is for you. So get your questions in for Miss Herica Willis, coming very soon to Grenada Matters. Once again, thank you, Miss Herica Willis, attorney at law in Grenada.
Thank you very much, England.
Thank you.
Great.